On January 12, 2010, an object entered restricted airspace over northern Alaska. No transponder, no flight path, no sound. It didn't behave like anything we've ever tracked. Around 2 a.m., it stopped moving. Not slowed down, stopped. Mid-air, perfectly still. And then it stayed there for over 3 hours. My name is Daniel Hayes. I worked contract surveillance for a private defense monitoring station. We weren't military, but we worked close enough to them that we followed the same rules. No questions, just report. That night started like every other. Dead quiet. Snow outside. No flights scheduled in our sector. Just me and one other operator. Mark. Mark noticed it first. "Hey, you seeing that? One dot. High altitude. No identification." We checked the system. Nothing. No registered aircraft, no satellite drift, no weather anomaly. Then we noticed something strange. The altitude reading kept changing, but the object wasn't moving. We switched to visual. At first, nothing, just sky. Then we saw it. A faint shape, circular, no lights, just darker than the sky around it, like something was blocking the stars. Here's what didn't make sense. Even helicopters drift. Even drones vibrate. This thing was perfectly still. No motion, no adjustment, like it wasn't affected by wind or physics. Mark joked, maybe it's a glitch, but it wasn't, because both systems, radar and visual, matched perfectly. We reported it. 5 minutes later, we got a reply. Short, cold. Do not approach. Continue observation. That was it. No questions, which was unusual. They always asked questions. This is where things changed. I checked the clock. 2:58 a.m. Then again later, 2:58 a.m. I thought the system froze, but Mark looked at me and said, "Didn't we already pass 3?" We checked logs. Everything was recording, but timestamps weren't moving. Time wasn't progressing normally. Then, for the first time, it moved. Not across the sky, not forward. Down. Just a few meters, slow, controlled, like it finally noticed us. The air changed. You don't hear it, you feel it, like pressure building inside your head. The screen started flickering, radar distorted, and then every system went blank. Power came back. Silence. The object gone. Completely. Sky empty. Clock reading 03:01 a.m. We reviewed the recordings. Everything was there, except for one thing. For exactly 2 hours and 47 minutes, there was no audio, no movement, no recorded activity, just one single frame repeating. And in that frame, the object wasn't above us anymore. It was directly in front of the observation window, close enough that it blocked everything except one detail. A surface, not metal, not smooth, but something that looked almost organic, like it wasn't a vehicle, but something that was watching back. I don't talk about this, not because people won't believe me, but because something about remembering it feels like permission. Like if I say it out loud, they'll know I remember. And last time, that didn't end well.
This happened 3 years ago. I used to live on the outskirts of town, one of those places where streetlights stop existing, where your nearest neighbor is just a shadow in the distance. No traffic, no noise, just wind and silence. The kind of silence that feels like it's listening back. I worked late shifts back then, got home around 1:30 a.m. most nights, and I had a routine. Park the car, sit there for a few seconds, let my eyes adjust to the dark. Because out there, it was pitch black. No city glow, no passing headlights, just empty land stretching forever.
The first time I noticed something, I thought it was just a plane, a light in the sky. But it wasn't moving like one. It would stop, then move again, then stop, like it was thinking, watching. I started seeing it every night, same time, same position, hovering just above the tree line. And I know what you're thinking, probably a drone. That's what I told myself, too, until one night it came closer. I was sitting in my car, engine off, keys still in my hand, and that light was no longer far away. It was right above my house, silent, no sound, no wind, nothing.
That's when I noticed something wrong. There were no shadows. The light was bright, but it didn't behave like light. It didn't spread. It didn't illuminate the ground properly. It just existed, like it wasn't part of this world. And then, everything went quiet. Not normal quiet, dead quiet. No insects, no wind, no distant sounds, like the world had been muted. That's when I realized I couldn't move. My hand was still on the keys, but I couldn't turn them. My body felt heavy, like gravity had doubled, and I wasn't alone anymore. I didn't see them at first. I just knew. You ever get that feeling? Like someone's standing behind you even when you don't hear anything? Multiply that by 10. That's what it felt like. Then I saw the reflection in my rearview mirror, something tall, too thin, standing just outside the car, and it wasn't moving. It was just looking at me. Its head was wrong, too big, smooth, no hair, no expression, just these eyes, dark, not black, deeper than black, like looking into something that doesn't end. And then I heard something, not with my ears, inside my head, a voice, but not really a voice, more like a thought that wasn't mine. Do not resist. The car door opened. I didn't open it. I couldn't, but it opened anyway. And I stepped out, not because I wanted to, because I was told to. The ground felt distant, like I wasn't fully there anymore, and the light above me started pulling, not physically, but something inside me was being lifted. The last thing I remember from outside was the sky, except it wasn't the sky anymore. It was something else, something closer. When I came back, I was somewhere else, cold, bright, too bright, no walls, just smooth white surfaces that curved in impossible ways. There were 3 of them now, standing around me, watching, studying, like I wasn't a person, like I was a specimen.
I couldn't move. Again. But this time, I couldn't even feel my body properly, like I was disconnected from it, and something was wrong with time. It wasn't flowing normally. One of them moved closer, too close, and it reached out, but it didn't touch me, not physically. It touched my mind. Suddenly, memories started flashing, not just random ones, specific ones, childhood, fears, moments I never told anyone. It was going through me, like flipping through pages.
And then, that same thought appeared again. You are compatible. Compatible with what? I tried to scream. I couldn't. And that's when I felt it. Something being placed inside my head. Then everything went dark. I woke up in my car, engine still off, keys still in my hand, like nothing had happened. Except it had. 3 hours had passed. I checked my phone. 1:34 a.m. when I got home. 4:52 a.m. when I woke up.
And there was a mark behind my ear, small, perfectly circular, like something had been inserted and removed. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is it didn't end. Sometimes, when I'm lying in bed, I hear it again, that thought, clear as before. We are still with you. And every now and then, I see the light again, hovering, closer than before. So if you ever see something in the sky that doesn't move right, don't stare at it, don't acknowledge it, because once you do, they notice you. I didn't believe any of it either. The videos, the rumors, the people saying something not human was inside that mall. I thought it was just another internet story. Until I saw it. Not clearly, not fully, but enough to know whatever they said it was a lie. This happened at Bayside Marketplace, Miami, January, late evening. Crowded, loud, normal. Tourists everywhere, music playing, stores open. Nothing felt wrong. At first, I was with 2 friends. We were just walking around, grabbing food, filming random stuff. It was one of those nights where everything feels alive. Lights reflecting off the water, people laughing, completely normal. And that's what makes it worse, because when things changed, it didn't happen slowly. At first, we heard shouting. Not unusual, just loud voices near the center area. We thought it was a fight, people arguing. Then, more people started running. Not walking fast, not rushing, running. And not like they were scared of a person, more like they didn't want to turn around. We tried to see what was happening, phones out, recording, like everyone does now, but something felt off. People weren't yelling words, they were just screaming. That's when I saw it, between people, near the entrance corridor. Something tall, too tall. At first I thought, just a person, but no, it wasn't moving like one. Its height didn't match anything normal, at least 7, maybe 8 feet, and thin, not skinny, wrong. My brain kept trying to fix it, to turn it into something normal, a trick of perspective, a shadow, someone on something. But it wasn't. It moved. Not walking, not running, more like sliding, like its legs weren't working the way ours do.
That's when the panic hit fully. People weren't curious anymore. They were terrified, running in all directions, dropping things, not looking back. And then I realized it wasn't alone. There were more. Not clearly visible, but shapes moving between lights. The lights around them felt wrong, like they were bending, flickering, but not like electricity, like reality itself was glitching. And the sound. This is the part I can't explain. There was no footsteps, no voices, just this low vibration. You didn't hear it, you felt it. One of them moved closer, still partially hidden, but I saw enough. The head, too smooth, no clear face, just dark. And then, something reflected, like eyes, but not like ours, too big, too still. For a second, everything slowed down, people running around me, but I couldn't move because it was looking at me. And I swear, this is the part people won't believe. It felt like it knew I noticed it. Then someone slammed into me, knocked me out of it, and I ran. Police sirens everywhere, lights flashing. But here's the weird part. There were way too many. Not just a few cars, dozens, then more, like they were preparing for something big. But no gunshots, no confrontation, just containment. Officers weren't rushing in, they were blocking, sealing exits, keeping people away. Then helicopters, circling, spotlights scanning, but never focusing on one spot for long. And then, just like that, they were gone. No bodies, no suspects, no explanation. They said it was teenagers fighting with sticks. No, that's not what we saw. That's not what caused that panic. That's not what required that response. And here's something I didn't notice until later. In one of my recordings, for just a few frames, there's a shape. Too tall, standing still, while everything else is moving. And it's not looking at the crowd. It's looking directly at the camera. They can call it whatever they want. They can explain it away. But I was there, and I know what I saw. And whatever it wasn't supposed to be here.